Hello, welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's readings are Leviticus chapter 18 and Matthew chapter 10. I'm sitting in the rockery in front of our home and I think it's pretty cool. But you might look at it and say, I don't like it. I don't like orange flowers. I don't like the way that you've done it because, haven't you heard the saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I've got different preferences, which I suppose is a valid maxim. But boy, do we love that saying, don't we? And we love to apply it to every area of our lives. That, how dare you tell me what's beautiful? I decide what's beautiful. I decide what's magnificent. I decide what's preferential. And, we apply that to areas of our lives like our sexuality. How dare you tell me what's beautiful in terms of my sexual expression? God would disagree with you on that. Leviticus 18 says, you must not do as they did in Egypt, where you used to live. You must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I'm bringing you. Do not follow their practices. You must obey my laws and careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. What's he saying? He's saying, listen, I've called you out of Egypt, out of Canaan. Beauty is not what you define it to be. Is what I say it is. It's your sexual, and this whole chapter is about your sexual expression. Your sexual expression is to be beautiful and holy and sacred, but the way that I've designed it to be. So he gives a long list of sexual preferences and expression that he says the Canaanites might call these beautiful, the Egyptians might call these beautiful, but God himself doesn't. And he lists them. He says basically having sex with close family members, with animals, with people of the same gender as you, and then of your neighbor's wife or husband. And so he says, you can call that beautiful yourself if you want, but God himself is making it very clear that he is not. He wants a people set apart. He wants a people not defining their own sense of beauty and wonder, but living in the way he's designed it. That is Leviticus chapter 18. But Matthew chapter 10 is where we're going to spend the rest of the morning. A magnificent, rich chapter that we could spend months in, actually. It's where Jesus sends the disciples out, giving them authority. He says to them, preach that the kingdom of heaven is near, heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those with leprosy, drive out demons. And he commissions them. He says to them, when you go, take no bag with you. I'll tell you where to stay. If I don't want you to stay there, dust the dust of your feet. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. People are going to persecute you. People are going to, say terrible things about you. He says to them, which master is not greater than his students? Now, if they said to me that I'm the prince of demons, what are they going to say about you? It's a pretty hectic start to the chapter. And you might think, really, has God called us to hold out the gospel like that? Preach like that, be persecuted like that? Well, this chapter makes it pretty clear that if you stand for him, you're going to get resistance. If you stand for him, you're going to get betrayal. If you're going to stand for him, you're going to get opposition. And you say, oh God, I'm not so sure that I'm into knocking on doors and, doing that sort of thing. I can remember when I was a university student, Moira Oliver, who planted the church many years ago with her husband Ray, had this idea of going door to door in the Bisley Valley on a Sunday night. I remember thinking, there's no way this auntie's going to do this and I'm going to chicken out. So I went with her. But boy, it was nerve-wracking knocking on those doors back there in the early 90s and late 80s. I'm not sure that, we're called to do that right now. I mean, the reality is that, you wouldn't get past their Rottweilers, climb their fence, and past their shotguns. Back in the 80s, 90s, it was acceptable. There weren't big palisade fences. You could just walk up to someone's front door. But I think this text is not so much in the method, but it's in describing what will happen when you stand for Christ. And he's saying you're going to have to face a choice between family sometimes, which is going to be a very difficult one. And he's basically saying if you love your kids or your mom and dad more than you love me, you're going to have problems. You say, God, that's a tough thing to say. Yeah, if you define that your kids and your mom and dad and your wife even is more important to you than God, you're going to have issues. And you're going to have issues with the Lord. And this is how he ends the chapter. He says, verse 39, whoever finds their life will lose it. In other words, if you define for yourself what's beautiful, what's right, what's just, that's your life, and at the end of the day, it's just like smoke. But whoever loses their life for my sake, whoever tucks into my design, my way, my definition, and my design will find it.